Ever since I was very young, I've always been fascinated with gaming mysteries. Things like scrapped content from games, cancelled projects as a whole, or, if you want to go way back, creepypastas even. Nowadays though, cut content and cancelled games are what interest me the most, and one of the best examples of a game that I've always been eager to know more about was LittleBigPlanet Hub, a free-to-play LBP game that never saw the light of day. In this video, I want to go through the history of this unreleased but not officially cancelled entry in one of my childhood franchises. What exactly happened during the lead up to its disappearance, and what did this game ultimately turn into? Before we start, I do want to give a quick shout out to this video's sponsor, Opera GX. Opera GX is a web browser tailor-made for people that like to game on PC. It comes with a variety of useful features that you won't see in most other web browsers, including GX Control, a way to enhance performance on your PC while using Opera by limiting the amount of CPU or RAM it uses. This is really helpful if you're like me and have lots of tabs open at all times. There's also GX Player, a way to keep your favorite streaming services in one place, Twitch and Discord integration, tons of customization options, a built-in VPN, a built-in ad blocker, and even a way to quickly import your settings from a previous browser. You can download the Opera GX web browser with the link in the description below. If you do so, be sure to leave a comment and tell me what you think.
LittleBigPlanet has fast become one of PlayStation's best-loved and most iconic franchises, with millions of consumers enjoying millions of community creative levels. We're very pleased to announce today that LittleBigPlanet Hub, a new free-to-play service for PlayStation 3, will launch later this year.
August 20th, 2013, almost 8 years ago now, LittleBigPlanet Hub was revealed at Gamescom with a very brief CGI trailer. It was going to be this free-to-play version of LBP that would feature new content and release later that year exclusively for PS3. Alongside the game's reveal, there was a whole PlayStation blog post written about it that gave us more information. In it, we learned that Hub was going to have a completely unrestricted create mode, feature community levels that were team-picked from past games, and have a constant stream of new challenges every single week, with challenges being one of the main new features. We also learned that all previously purchased DLC and existing profiles from LBP 1 and 2 could carry over to this new game, but something really interesting is the fact that LBP Hub would have given you access to the first story mode worlds from LBP 1 and LBP 2 for completely free. I assume that means the gardens and Da Vinci's hideout would be the starting worlds, but it's entirely possible that more than just those two worlds would have been playable at the start. But for the first time ever, we were getting an LBP game that potentially combined both main series story modes, so that's pretty cool. Unfortunately though, there were no screenshots or gameplay footage to look through when this was first revealed. Once again, there was just a simple teaser in a short blog post. The silver lining here is that the game was releasing in 2013, and with it being revealed in late August, it shouldn't be that long until we heard more about it, right? Well, it wasn't anything official, but in early September, YouTuber Sackboy, who I believe is the first person to discover this, found out that Sumo Digital were the ones developing LittleBigPlanet Hub. Like I said, this wasn't official, it wasn't confirmed, but information related to Sumo's involvement was found on a few websites, one of which included a developer's LinkedIn page. And to top it off, Sackboy supposedly reached out to Steven Isbell himself, who sorta kinda told him that Sumo was the developer. Now you gotta remember, at this point in time, we didn't know LBP 3 even existed, and we didn't know Sumo was involved with that game. And until that happens, I don't want to spend too much time on it, so I want to move on to the next piece of official information we got, which was almost 4 months later, on December 16th. On this day, LBP community manager Steven Isbell broke his silence, giving us a reassuring statement regarding LBP Hub on a PS blog post comment. In it, he said, "We're still working hard on it, and hope to be able to update you soon." Yeah, that's it. I said reassuring, not detailed. The sad thing is, this was all we got until the end of 2013, so we knew the game was delayed, but there was no confirmation of a delay, which was strange. Thankfully, It wouldn't be long until we got something LBP Hub related, because in early January of 2014, we started hearing rumors of an LBP Hub closed beta with actual gameplay screenshots to back it up. So, basically, the private beta started a few days before the end of 2013, and those participating were able to create levels and publish them for other beta testers to play. Outside of create mode, 2 other modes were also available, one of which included a player challenge mode where people that were friends on PSN could compete and compare each other's scores. The second mode was story challenges, where you could play through story levels from past Media Molecule created worlds and win medals. There's nothing crazy about what was described in the beta. It's mostly stuff we knew about already, but we do get a better idea of what challenges were supposed to be. The big thing to come out of this though were definitely the screenshots. The first of which showed off a brand new level that sort of resembled the Cut English Seaside theme from LBP 1, just with more of a Candyland aesthetic going on. The last 2 screenshots are taken straight from a level in LBP 2 story mode, more specifically the level Current Affairs from Victoria's lab. Moving beyond the leaked screenshots and beta details though, it would be a while longer for us to get anything official. The next time we would hear anything about Hub would be in early February, where Steven Isbell left us this message on an LBP Central thread, and I quote, "There's plans that are a-brewin', and we should hopefully have much more to say soon. So I can assure you that we won't be keeping LBP Hub quiet. When it's ready, we will start shouting." And then later that month, on February 27th, Steven left a comment on the PlayStation blog stating that there's no news just yet, but Sackboy is a very busy bee at the moment, and we should have an update soon. Smiley face. After this, Steven went silent for months, and it didn't take long to realize something strange was going on. Something had to be wrong, right? Time and time again, we were being told the same exact thing with long waits in between updates. But just as soon as we were starting to get concerned, an update was quietly put out for LBP 2 in early April. Update 1.30, and in this update, players started seeing an altered message in the Friends tab, where it now displayed friends playing LittleBigPlanet 2 or LittleBigPlanet Hub. And okay, not only was this a sign that Hub wasn't dead, but now we know LBP 2 would have been heavily integrated with Hub, to the point where you could potentially play with your friends between both games, like an early version of crossplay, I guess. Sure, that's cool. What's important though is that this was a sign that LBP Hub was probably coming soon. Very soon. I mean, why else would they all of a sudden push out this update and add this message? Well, who knows, because pretty shortly after, any mention of LBP Hub was removed from the game, and I think we could just boil this down to being a simple mistake. The message obviously wasn't supposed to be there, at least not yet, but the fact that this message existed at all showed that they were preparing for something. Maybe preparing for a more open beta, preparing for launch. Regardless, we had a feeling it wouldn't be much longer until we got our hands on this new LBP title. And so days go by. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, and after a few more responses from Steven Isbell telling us he had no news to share, this happens. June 10th, 2014, LittleBigPlanet 3 was announced for both PS3 and PS4. And yes, it was being developed by Sumo Digital, the same studio supposedly working on LBP Hub. This was very exciting at the time. So exciting that I, along with many others, pretty much forgot about LBP Hub entirely. Or at least didn't really care anymore, because all of our hype was now focused on LBP 3, a new main series game. It wasn't until June 23rd that I was reminded of this game's existence when Steven Isbell responded to someone on yet another PlayStation blog comment, stating that LittleBigPlanet Hub and LittleBigPlanet 3 are 2 very different things. And so I thought, okay, if LBP Hub didn't turn into LBP 3, and if LBP Hub wasn't cancelled, where is it? What is it? Will it come to PS4 as well? Is it now going to tie into LBP 3? Is it still free to play? And most importantly, is there really still a point for LBP Hub to exist after 3's announcement? All of these were questions I had in the back of my mind, questions that I felt would all get answers eventually. But in reality, these questions were actual problems Sony had to deal with. And maybe, just maybe, those problems are exactly why we haven't heard about LBP Hub since 2014. As more time went by with no updates being shared, it just became more obvious that this game was not coming out. It was cancelled, quietly, swept under the rug like it never existed. And this is where we forget about LBP Hub, right? Forget it and move on with our lives. Well, it ain't that easy, because the story doesn't end there. See, throughout LittleBigPlanet 3's life, LBP Hub would be brought back into the conversation as content from that game was apparently being reused in LBP 3. There are a few examples of this going back as far as LBP 3's launch, with the supposed DLC store being recycled, but two of the big ones, two of the main offenders I want to talk about, are the Seaside Surprise level kit and the introduction of challenges. These two LBP 3 editions were announced in August 2016, 3 whole years after LBP Hub's announcement, with both looking oddly similar to the things we've seen before. Starting with Seaside Surprise, it looks almost identical to the Candyland Seaside level we saw in the LBP Hub beta leaks. I say identical, but it wasn't exactly the same. There were some minor differences and it was a bit more polished, but nonetheless, LBP Hub content was without a doubt being recycled as LBP 3 DLC. If that wasn't proof enough, let's take a look at LBP 3's new Challenges feature. A feature that was advertised as one of the cool new things in LBP Hub. I mean, come on, man, they even used a scene from LBP Hub's teaser trailer as a graphic for LBP 3's Challenges tab. Don't get me wrong, it's totally fine for Sumo to do this. There's no harm in reusing scrapped content from a game you were working on, but damn, this is just disrespectful to poor LBP Hub. At least the game will be remembered for the wild journey it took us on for over 3 years. Beyond that, even if we consider the game wasn't officially cancelled. Who knows? LBP Hub could come back at any point in time, even if just by name. I mean, Metroid Dread just got announced by Nintendo, a game that was conceptualized, rumored, and teased for almost 20 years. So if LBP Hub suddenly came back as a PS5 exclusive or something, I'd be down. There's still a bit more to talk about when it comes to LBP Hub's history, things that I probably should have touched on, and maybe will in a future video, but I feel like I covered enough today. One thing I did want to bring up though before I end the video, is that in update 1.14 for LittleBigPlanet 3, a bunch of leftover dialogue from LBP Hub was accidentally added, and it's a lot of dialogue. I can't possibly fit every single voice clip in this video, so I'll just share this one.
Introducing Challenges, the latest and greatest addition to LittleBigPlanet.
But by all means, go check out the LBP 3 cutting room floor page I left in the description if you want to hear more. That's it though. That's the history of LittleBigPlanet Hub explained in a single video. If I happen to miss anything remotely important, or if more things are discovered about LBP Hub in the near future, I'll probably make a whole nother video if I feel like there's enough information. Like I said, there are some things I left out, so a sequel video of some kind or an extras video is something I'd consider. For now though, feel free to like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't, and leave a comment down below talking about whatever you want, I guess. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.